Today I'm going to machine knit a Japanese knotted bag. This is a very interesting bag. It has one handle longer than the other, so the long one can go through the short handle and it kind of creates a knot. You can sew a bag with fabric or use crochet, but I think it will be fun to knit with a machine. And I'm going to use basic stockinette stitch and a worsted weight yarn. So the edge of the handle will curve a little bit, but it doesn't really create problems. This bag is useful as a project bag. If you have extra items you want to store, maybe a knitting project, you can put them together in a bag and put it away when you are not using it. Or you can make a bigger version and use it as a market bag. The yarn I'm using is standard worsted weight. So I have this chart here. Basically, we are going to knit 2 pieces of this shape and we'll sew up the top, bottom, and sides. So that's very simple. And for the size of the bag, I use 8 inch by 8 inch, but you can adjust it based on your swatch. And for the handle, I have it the same as the height of the bag. So the long handle is 8 inches. And the short handle will be half of the long handle, so I use 4 inches. And based on my swatch, I have tension 9 for both upper tension and the carriage tension. And I use my LK150 knitting machine. So my calculation is 4 stitches per square inch and 5 rows per square inch. That's how I come up with all the numbers. So I will cast on 32 stitches and then knit 40 rows. And then I will put one side on hold and continue knitting this side. That will be 12 stitches, 40 rows. And then we'll come back to this side. We can bind off these 2 sections first or put them on the waste yarn and finish up later. And then on the short handle, we will knit 4 inches. So that's about 20 rows. And we'll repeat again for another same piece. And for the second piece, it will be pretty much the same, but it will be symmetrical. So the right side will be longer, the left side will be shorter. So that's the idea. It's very straightforward. So we start with cast on 32 stitches. I have it from left 15 to right 15. And you can cast on any method you like. If you want it to be seamless, you can start with scrap yarn and have an open cast on. Later you can do Kitchener stitches to connect 2 sides. Or you can just start with simple E-rub for a closed edge. And that's what I'm going to do. Now I set my carriage to highest tension, tension 9, and I'm ready to knit a square. So I will need 40 rows. Remember to place the weight. Now we just made a small rectangle. And the next part we are going to do the handles. Since my carriage is on the right side, I will need the right handle first. So I will put the other sections on hold so it doesn't knit. And then I will just knit these 12 stitches for 20 rows. And to do the partial knitting, I will place a rustle lever to 1 on both sides. And for stitches to be on hold, I will put it into the D position. So these stitches will not be knitted. And now we are ready to knit 20 rows. And because we are going to have a lot of stitches here, make sure we have enough weight. Okay, now we have 20 rows here. The row counter is showing 60 rows. Now we can bind off directly, or we can use waste yarn, and later we can do Kitchener stitch for connecting the two pieces of handles. It's up to you. See if you want a seamless look, or you don't mind a little bit of the connecting edge. I will cut off the yarn and change to a waste yarn and knit a few rows. And move my weight up again. Now I'm going to take this off the machine. That's our handle. Our handle weight again, make sure it's even. Now the stitches on the right, we place it back to the A, the non-working position. We'll focus on the left handle. So we just follow the chart, doing the same thing. We'll leave 12 stitches on the left side, and we'll put the center 8 stitches on hold. Since this is already the top edge, I can just bind off these 8 stitches. So I have my carriage on the right side and thread the yarn. And first we are going to bind off the 8 stitches on the right. Add a clip. Now we have 12 stitches left. That's the width of the handle. So we are just going to knit 40 rows of plain stitches. So that will finish up this long handle. I'm going to reset my counter 000 and knit 40 rows. And then bind off with a few rows of waste yarn. And we can place a Russell lever back to 2 for normal stockinette stitch knitting. We don't need a partial knitting for this handle. Now we just need 40 rows. So this is our first piece. This is a short handle, and that's a longer handle. And the next one, we do it exactly the same, except the right side will be the longer handle, and the left side will be the shorter handle. So we have the 2 pieces knitted. One has longer handle on the left, the other one has longer handle on the right. And we can give it a steam so it's a little bit more flat, but they will always be a little bit curved. And that works fine for the handle, so that's not a problem. And we'll just sew it together. We will seam up the top. You can use Kitchener stitch. And then it will be the 3 sides of the back, the 2 sides, and the bottom. And it seems easier to do it when we have the right side facing each other and sew it up from the back side. Here is a little refresher for Kitchener stitch. You need the same amount of stitches on each side. I place it on a set of circular knitting needle and make sure we have 12 stitches on each side. And I have the extra yarn tail here. Or you can just cut another piece of yarn and thread it through a yarn needle. First I thread the yarn purlwise for the front needle and kneadwise for the back needle. Now we'll start the repeat. I will knead, take it off the machine, and then purl to the next stitch. For the back needle, we'll do the opposite. We purl, take it off the stitch, and then knead. And we'll just keep repeating that. So this is what it looks like after I iron it. So the handles are more flat. So basic is just a bag with different length handles, one longer, one shorter. And the way it works is to place a longer handle through the smaller one, like that. So that creates a little knot. So that's a Japanese knotted handbag. I hope you like it and you can try it on your knitting machine. It works up very quickly and it's practical. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.